July was a month of preparations for our trip back home to England, choosing and making handmade gifts from Brazil and enjoying the first few weeks back home in my own country. Join me with your current crafty project and a nice warm drink while I share my wonderful trip to London, visiting Kew Gardens and spending an afternoon at Loops London. It had been 2.5 years since my last visit home, and I wanted to make some handmade gifts for cherished friends and family. My main project was to make some sets of my crochet caterpillar life cycle set, inspired by the classic children's book The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. For the first few weeks running up to our journey, I spent the afternoons crocheting the 4 stages of the caterpillar. From egg, caterpillar, cocoon, to finally the famous dazzling colourful butterfly. The final piece takes a lot of work, as each colour is individually added, then embellished with surface crochet motifs. Once all 4 panels are made, they are crocheted together to create the stunning colourful wings then sewn onto the butterfly body. I don't enjoy this type of crochet, but once it all comes together, it makes me smile. As it is always worth all the work. Plus, I know a child will enjoy playing with the story set just as my daughter does. To finish off the set, I made a little linen badge with matching caterpillar motif. Now that was finished, it was time to choose some other gifts. I wanted to bring a bit of Brazil home with me, so I contacted the Brazilian tribal shop that I know to choose some special handmade pieces for some very special creative women. I chose a selection of animal and tribal ceramics, which had been handmade by the tribe from the Amazon, using clay from the earth and natural paints created from fruits and nuts of the Amazon trees. I also ordered a beautiful water vessel made from a gourd which had been hand carved with a bone, creating the most beautiful, delicate geometric design. Finally, I bought a colourful hand-woven basket full of Brazilian colour of life, expertly embroidered and woven by Brazilian tribal women who make these wonderful baskets to help support their natural way of life. Within a few days of arriving home, I got the train down to London to catch up with many dear friends who I have missed for so long. During my short trip to London, me and my friend Carl wandered the cobbled streets of Richmond, enjoying the historical streets lined with gorgeous shops and cafes. We veered off the beaten track to enjoy views of quintessential English gardens, admiring the delicate flowers and shrubs against traditional brick houses that I miss so much. Then we took a lazy morning stroll along the riverbank before making our way over to Kew Gardens. As we entered Kew, we were welcomed with borders bursting with delicate summer flowers. And ancient, majestic trees. We enjoyed the afternoon exploring the famous greenhouses, in which I was transported back to Brazil, recognizing many plants from my own garden. In the water lily house, we were spellbound by the size of the lily pads and the vibrant pinks, violets and white lily flowers, which I think needs to be one of my future crochet patterns. While Carl enjoyed the rose garden, I took a moment to just sit and relax in the sun and enjoy the moment with the resident ducks. We stopped for an afternoon coffee and cake craft session. We were both prepared. Carl had brought her knitting and I my crochet. I worked on some crochet motifs to finish off a knitted top that Carl very kindly made for me. We talked about life and yarn as we caught up and just enjoyed being in Kew. We spent the entire afternoon until closing exploring all that we could, vowing to come back in the future as there was so much more to see and do. Our final day of our trip was designated to a passion that we both share, yarn, with a visit to Loops of London. From floor to ceiling, the shop is filled with the most wonderful yarns from all over the world. In such a tiny shop, you could easily while away a whole afternoon choosing yarns and threads of every kind for your next knit, crochet or embroidery project. They also stock the most beautiful crochet and embroidery shawls by Sophie Degard, which have inspired me to refine my own crochet work with smaller thread yarns. I was in love with the Japanese yarn holders and tried to buy some, but had to settle with enjoying the beauty of their craftsmanship. Of course, I did not leave the shop without a few special purchases to come home with me to Brazil, which I will share with you in my next vlog. I hope you've enjoyed this month's updates. Until then, have a wonderful day or evening.